Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Thinnest Veil podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Bird, and I am really, really excited to be joined by two wonderful and amazing humans from an organization called Everyday Action. And we're going to start by Sam and Hillary, you introducing yourselves and telling us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Amazing. Well, I'm Hillary,
And I'm Sam.
and we're the co-founders of Everyday Action. And our background is in film and television as assistant directors, and we really watched a lot of food waste across our careers and both decided to do something about it. So we started Everyday Action, which is a nonprofit that reallocates food from film and TV sets, corporate events, and more, really anywhere that has gourmet catered food across a 90-mile area of outreach.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we are a food recovery service. So how we're able to cover all of the outreach is we have a industry driver program, which gives a small stipend for gas and for the food recovery itself to production assistants, background actors, and now we've opened it up to all crew members since the contraction of our industry. So we always drop it off to other places in need. We support other nonprofits as well as low income housing, anywhere that has a need or food insecurity. So we cover everything from encampments to shelters, other nonprofits with food, with any sort of food program, and a few individual buildings as well that are low income housing.
That is so rad. When I first found out about your organization, I'm actually wearing my Metallica. Um, they have an initiative. They're my favorite band. And they have a nonprofit called All Within My Hands. And it started because they noticed how much food was being wasted after their concerts.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
there's so
so,
much waste at concerts.
yes. And so they started donating their food after their shows. And then they started this nonprofit to actually help give scholarships to people going into the trades. So it's a really amazing organization. You all are very working very much in relationship with each other in these ways that you're looking at where food is wasted and how to help distribute that to people in need. And I love it so much. So, um, how did you get, like, you noticed food was being wasted and you're both sitting around going, we really should do something about this. Like, how did you all start this endeavor?
Yeah, I mean, I came from an independent filmmaking where like food was not fancy, so going from that to the set of private practice where it really was like a wedding gourmet meal every lunch and then whatever you wanted for breakfast was just like a crazy change. And in Los Angeles, like everywhere is a film set, like everywhere is a location. So films, productions just set up anywhere they can and it's often really next to people that are unhoused. And so my whole career, it just really bothered me watching so much excess next to people who had nothing and like nothing being done, like at the end of any day or during the day or with anything. It was just so strange to me. And it just kind of really wore away at me after a while. And I just also, like Sam, worked alongside production assistants and background artists, and I really did not and still don't understand like the pay scale, why that's so different. Union crew members and actors and producers and stuff, they all make a livable wage, but PAs and production assistants and background artists don't, and it doesn't make any sense because they're some of the hardest working people that they're the glue of all of it. So it's just kind of like going together. I've always said we're high stakes puzzle solvers, so it's like putting those superpowers into like the use of doing good and just solving that logistical puzzle of food waste because no one should be hungry, especially in a major city or in America. So it's just like, yeah, we just kind of work together and
Yeah, I think
Sam,
we saw the need. It's really easy to see food waste on set and any sort of waste really. And so for us, we were told many years of like someone got sued a long time ago, and that's why we don't donate the food anymore. I couldn't personally find any cases like that, and I think if there were any, they're private and not it's just an easy out, right? It's
Mhm.
an easy out, and we realize that it's so easy to just continue to not do something, which is what I feel like many crew members and cast members, anyone who is on a set has always seen all of this food and been like, what happens to it? Why does it get thrown out? So, for us, we just really finally decided that something needed to be done. So We're
Sam,
ADs. If you want something done, have us do it.
you got to do it. Sam, can you talk a little bit more about what production assistants and background artists do? Because I think a lot of people who, I mean, I lived in LA for a long time, so I understand it, but can you talk a little bit about more about what those people do and how they make our movies and TV shows actually work?
Absolutely. So, production assistants, they do exactly what their title says. They assist production. So they are doing everything from helping, on the assistant director side. There's also PAs on almost every department, right? So there's office PAs, there's onset PAs, and they are really the ones running around in there. We always say in the assistant director department that they're like they're our hands and feet. Like they are really the reason we're able to do so much coordination and so and work in such a high pace and high stress environment so flawlessly because of production assistants. So they will do everything from counting walkies to grabbing people coffee to guiding people to where they need to go, keeping us helping us keep everyone on schedule. Production assistants are, yeah, just the absolute backbone of the industry. And then you have background actors. So background actors, if you've ever seen a scene and it's boring and see someone just walk behind our car,
I was just
that's
gonna say,
exactly
there's
what
our
a background.
favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
That's
our
it.
background actors. So you want a scene to live and have some life, so you put background back there, and they are background actors. And I always used to tell them, that they're the glitter of the scene. They're the ones who make it sparkle and make it shine because they really breathe life and reality into every scene. And those two categories are the lowest paid on any set. And we really just wanted to recognize the wage gap disparity and see if we could do something to help with it.
Mhm. As one of the things that I've been advocating for in my community has all to do with food and food insecurity. Um, Especially with, I still have kids in school, and I know the reason they are eating breakfast and lunch is because they're getting free school lunch and school breakfast every day. And and with the increased cost of food, it's becoming more and more difficult for families to feed their kids. And I'm curious if you've seen an increase since the SNAP cuts and since the things that have been happening with the USDA, where they've been cutting funding for food services programs and food banks. I'm wondering if you've seen an increase in the need for what you all are doing there in your area.
Absolutely. Everyday Action's a very small nonprofit. We do about 120,000 pounds of food a year, which seems like a lot, but in comparison to what other nonprofits are doing, it's very little. All those big nonprofits are suddenly reaching out saying, hey, do you have food? And Sam and I are getting, outreach from nonprofits that were like, wait, why do you need food? You always have food. So it's like that is really where we're seeing it, is that all of these nonprofits that had all these things coming in, they're just not there. And then there's the increase to their program. So it's not even supporting what they already had. It's that now there's even more coming to their programs than ever before. And it's not even people that are on SNAP benefits, it's people that aren't.
Mhm.
There's the cost of living and the decrease in jobs is, they're not going the same way.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I think people are working multiple jobs
Yeah.
for very little money, and their needs are increasing. And people make the assumption that people who need food are, lazy, non-working humans. And nothing could be further from the truth, right?
No, we were just on this podcast with Ian House, and one thing he really said, which is so true, is like we're all one medical emergency away from being unhoused, and
Yeah.
like unless you have some insane amount of wealth in your family that's going to back you up, if you're ill, that's it. Like there's no net, and so a lot of people pour all of their resources into rent and their health, and that's it. And food is not an option.
Yeah.
Even though food is critical to our health.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, there's such a misconception too of like food insecurity exists on many different levels. You can be housed, you can be unhoused. You can suppose like have a very viscerally nice and together life and actually be really struggling to find good quality food. So, for us, we understand that food insecurity doesn't really have a face. It's any and all of us.
Mhm. I'm really curious um what the response has been from people in power, like you were alluding to earlier, that people didn't want to give food away because of some mysterious lawsuit that lives out somewhere in La La Land, right?
Yeah.
I'm really curious what the response has been from people in power that you are connected with. Like, have people been like, hell yeah, you guys are doing great stuff, or have you gotten a lot of pushback?
I mean, the city of Los Angeles needs a big applause because they, as a city, are working really hard to make food reallocation something that's standard. So there's a Senate bill, SB 1383, that they're really working to enforce right now that anyone that generates food has to have somewhere that their food waste is going. So I would say the city of Los Angeles is really embracing this effort. So we are really lucky in the state that we're living in and specifically our city.
Mhm.
But yes, there's still sets that don't want to donate or don't want to, help participate because it's just like one more complication. But generally speaking, it's been very embraced, and I'd say it's been really beautiful to watch the entertainment business hug it, to be a part of it. And like the stories we get from other crew members is something that I really love of people who are like, oh my gosh, I was on set today and I just saw that the food got taken somewhere and this has bugged me my whole career. So like I really love those stories on top of our beneficiary stories.
Mhm.
Yeah, and as far as, for us, we carry our own custom liability policy, and as well as, we have a donation agreement form that we have studios or production sign, whoever wants to sign it. It just simply signs over the liability to us, so we take on the responsibility of the food. And for us, when we started, that was our first question because the truth is, this is America and anyone can be sued for anything.
Mhm.
But and there is the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act that does help protect against those lawsuits. So it makes it's a very strong case that they would have to make of like gross negligence. So, and that's why we carry our liability policy on top of it. So, we understand production. So we understood how to approach the studios in that way to sign over that legality to just erase their fear for it. And that's all we view it as is just a silly fear. We're doing something good and we have our drivers food and safety certified, so they have serve safe certificates so they know how to handle food safely, as well as we provide cooler bags and gloves and even PPE still if someone wants a mask, we still have masks left over.
Mhm.
Anything to like give more protection, and food safety is really a big part of our ethos here. So we really, we work hard to show that we have no negligence as far as, food donation goes. And we really believe in our mission, and we just see all of the red tape is something that we learned how to navigate through, and we and are continuing to, and we just want to save the food. It was going to be trash anyway, so we're not really sure why all this red tape exists around,
Isn't it weird?
yeah.
Isn't it the weirdest thing? I remember when I was running nonprofits and we would have leftover food from events, and I'd be like, we should totally take this to the food bank. And they'd be like, oh, you can't do that because there's all these rules around it. And that's why it goes to waste, is because there's all this rules and regulation. I mean, it's not just because people are like, well, I don't want to take the time to do that. But also, it's so bizarre to me that the amount of regulation around what you can do with a lasagna.
Well, it's also only regulation when you don't have the means, right? Because if
Yeah.
you think about it, Postmates, Grubhub, all those things are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's food going from one location to another, and there's no one who's at the restaurant being like, "Well, the temperature of this chicken is actually this, and when in this car, and you got stuck in traffic, so this actually was longer, so you can't have this order anymore." That doesn't happen, and it's like when you have leftovers from a restaurant, you take them home. Maybe they sit in your car for 3 hours on a road trip. You decide to eat that or not. That's your choice, right? You have the choice to eat what you want. And suddenly, when you don't have means, there's all these red tape around having just food. And that is, to me, stupid.
God, that's such a great point.
It's like
Like
there's no
nobody is
reason.
regulating how long it took your damn burger to get to your house when you ordered from Grubhub.
No, like think how long pizza delivery has been around. Like that is the same thing.
Oh my God, Hillary, you just exploded my whole entire like, because I have been in the advocacy for homelessness and in the food insecurity space for a really long time as a social worker. And literally you just exploded my whole entire brain thinking about the fact that we have food delivered all the time under
We
no
do.
regulation. And I love what you said about how the regulation is for people without means. It is a continued right. It is so expensive to be poor.
Oh my gosh, it's like, and if you make $1 extra, the $1 that you're like, cool, I can like literally have like 30 seconds of a breath. It's like, oh no, actually, that's also not yours because it's owed to a bill collector. But since you made the $1 extra, now you're out of the program that was supporting you. So now you lost
Yes.
that support, and now you're definitely back to where you started. So it's like this, it's a circle that's meant to just put you back to the bottom, and that is
Yes.
not a healthy circle. It needs to be an elevator, it goes up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And speaking of health, like the food we recover, especially from our sets, that is beautiful catered food.
mhm.
They always have a very complete meal of a protein, a starch, a veg, and even dessert. I love recovering desserts. It's a real nice treat. But what we've heard from most other places who have food programs, especially shelters, a lot are just given sandwiches, and a lot of times they're just expected to eat what's free without any regard to any dietary restrictions, or nutrition value. And for us to be able to recover food that we know is really nutritious and we've seen ourselves really change people's health, it's
Mhm.
really just, it's such a privilege, and it's such a shame that it's taken this long for this to sort of really like catch on.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you're also alluding to is like I talk a lot about how I talk about our body, these four bodies. We have a physical body, we have an emotional body, we have a spiritual body, and we have a mental body. And those bodies, when one's out of whack, they're all out of whack, right? And then we're connected to this beautiful earth, like the earth body, right? And I think so much about how I can always tell when I'm not eating enough vegetables because my body feels like crap, right?
Yep.
And so what you're doing is not just nourishing people's physical bodies, but you're also providing people with beautiful and amazing nutritious food that also helps encourage spiritual growth and emotional, like it calms your nervous system down to know that people are feeding you and feeding your family. And I'm curious, have you ever have people talk to you about how it wasn't just about the meal itself, but also what has happened to them in all those other aspects emotionally and spiritually and all those other things?
Yeah, we actually have a facility that we were able to support for a while because we had production right around the corner from them. And it turned out that they were throwing little like pop-up buffets, and the entire building would come out. And one of their residents wrote in and just told us how special it was that, everyone jumped in, even people who were not usually very outgoing. They would even come and hang out and help out, and it was really just helping build community there, and that is exactly what we wanted to always inspire. So yeah, I still read that email when I'm feeling down.
Yeah.
Also like this high school that we start support because we also do some mutual aid. We collect a lot of like props and set dressing and things from shows and events as well. And this one high school, it's run by all these hardworking adults that really are putting the extra energy into this program that there's not like funding for. And we're able to supply like their community events, like all of their little prizes for their community and stuff, and like the stories that come from that school, and like just even the people that run the program, how they're like, we don't have to stress about, you know, having something every month, and now we just have like a great program that we can support. We don't have to worry about like funding. All of that, it really does, it just makes such a big impact, and it's great to be part of this like larger cycle.
I think the thing that is really important for people to hear is like this idea of creating community around food. Like we do it we gather for dinner, right? We gather for food, we gather for lunch, we gather, do you want to do lunch? Like it's like food is community. It is this communal thing that happens that brings us together, that reminds us that we're not isolated and alone. And I'm curious, for each of you, what has surprised you the most about doing this work, and what have you gotten out of it? How has your life changed?
I think what's most surprising is like coming from the entertainment space. It was a very competitive environment, and not very collaborative. And the nonprofit space is incredibly collaborative because we're all just trying to help each other, and there's no need to be in competition over trying to help each other. So for me, it's like working in a space that's incredibly collaborative, that just sees people, understands people, and is just working to help, has been like the biggest, I guess, shift.
Yeah. I think for me, just watching our skills get turned into this mission instead. A lot of people have always, I think, especially in the entertainment space, have sort of struggled with like how do these skills translate later for something different. And, for me, I think this mission was like a dream that I didn't realize I had until we started doing it. And for me personally, it gives me a whole different reason to wake up every day. I think there is just so much, yeah, I'm way less depressed, to be perfectly honest. You can't be. How can you when you're helping someone? That's what mutual aid is. It's mutually beneficial to the person doing it as well as, the person receiving.
Yeah, and
What
it's
do you
like,
wish?
sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying also like we have a warehouse that's like a new part of Everyday Action, the Food Insecurity Shared Hub. And just building that collaborative family. Like you can see them in the background running back and forth because we share our office space with four other nonprofits. So right before this happened, they like came in with a pallet jack, and Sila showed up because we're having a holiday party today. And it's like the community within those who are in this space has been like so special for Sam and I, and getting to be a part of other nonprofits and like what good they're doing, has just been so, I don't know, inspiring to watch other people and what the work that they're doing.
I think there's just something so remarkably amazing about building communal spaces when we are being told over and over again, especially by government, like to pull up your bootstraps and this individualistic bullshit mentality that just fuels this capitalistic push instead of that that reminding us that we are actually communal beings that are meant to be together and meant to be in a collective of humanity. Like that is why we are here as people, is to be in this collective of humanity. And even if we don't agree with each other, like we are humans being on this planet together. Like, I love that you have created the multiple levels of shared community. I think that's so remarkable. And it sounds like it's just completely changed your lives.
Yeah, I mean, I people always like the number one question is, are you going to go back to film production? And I'm like, I don't. It's an existential question, but probably not. It's like I really love my skill set here, and I'm so not done. Like our food hub's not finished. Like Everyday Action has so many more things to do, and Sam and I really are like just getting into, we're in year 5. So like Everyday Action is just now figuring out, okay, this is what we do. We do this well. We're
Mhm,
okay here. We
mhm,
need some improvement here. And
mhm,
we know how to fix that, and it's like in year 1, it was like just me and Sam in a cooler with Steven and a few other people, just really figuring it out. And like from that first run to go to like people are just delivering stuff to this warehouse, and we have like 20 pickups today. Like that is insane. And like that's just because, Sam and I just decided to like, hey, let's all think about this. And, just getting the word out there is all about just getting more food and helping more people.
Yeah.
mhm,
And for me, like in my career, like I could do first AD and it wasn't anything I wanted to move up into. The stress of it just felt so daunting. But here I'm sort of like a first AD who never gets out of prep because I'm constantly scheduling the drivers and scheduling the other pickups, and last minute pickups happen all the time, or someone's car will break, or there's constant pivoting. So I feel like I'm literally doing the same skill set, just under a different kind of pressure, and not half as intense, but and just as rewarding, to be honest.
mhm,
It's an art style in and of itself. So
mhm.
I'm really pleased that I can use these skills in this way and just, use it to help. It's been such a life-changing switch and mission, and one that we weren't exactly expecting, but I can't imagine going back, to be
One that you
honest.
were saying earlier, like that full version of yourself. that's to me what running everyday action is like I loved what I did and I was really good at it, but my stomach hurt like every day for a decade. Like I was so nervous every day for a decade. And I have like a different nerve about everyday action, but it's like a healthy nerve. You know, it's like, okay, I gotta get up because I gotta find the funding. I gotta get this thing so we can, figure out how we can get more drivers, gotta figure out how to fix the van. So it's like that is such a complete being feeling. And it's like I'm on Sunday, my husband's like, you need to stop. I'm like, no, I can't, because if I don't answer all these emails, like Monday doesn't happen, and like that's okay. I love this. So it's
Yeah.
like it's so great. And like we went to go see a food bank in Santa Barbara. We got to stop and like have lunch, and it was like sitting there together. I was like, I think this is like what our next stage of life is. It's like we don't have to be like exhausted to the point of like not being able to function, and like our phones like on a level that it's like you can't sleep. This is a better way of living life.
Well, and you're using your creativity, right? Like you have to engage in creative problem solving all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really curious in the writing world. I'm a writer, and in the writing world, we have this thing about killing your darling. So you have an idea of where your story's going to go, and you have either characters or lines like that you want in there no matter what, and then eventually they get edited out. You got to kill off your darlings in order to write the book you're supposed to write. I'm wondering, when you started Everyday Action, like you're in year 5, I'm wondering what the things you thought you had to hold on to, like because they were precious and tender and you weren't going to let it go for anything, but that you realized you had to let it go in order to build the organization that you have now.
I think it was judgment from others, to be honest, because a lot of like trailblazing and change making is about trusting your gut and doing what you think is best. And Sam and I have always done that and stuck together. And I think, in building a board or building a team, it's really easy to listen to 700 opinions and be like, oh, yes, we should go this way, we should go that way. It's like stay focused on the mission. Like Sam and I do know what everyday action is about the most because it came
Yeah,
from,
it's yours.
our brains, our hearts, our guts everywhere. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like listening to yourself and building the team that supports you. And if someone, isn't part of that team anymore, moving on, and like that's okay. They were part of your journey to that phase and now they're not part of it anymore. And that's okay because everyday action is just about beating as many people and helping as many people as we can.
Yeah.
I think for us too, I think it was about what, year 2 or 3, we really had to let go of being perfect, because perfection is something you are definitely held to in the entertainment industry, especially in our positions. And for us to just take a second and say, hey, we can't be perfect. It used to like really bring me to tears to like miss a pickup. I would sit and just cry because I couldn't figure out a way to make that work that day. And, at one point we had to just stop putting that much pressure on ourselves and remember what we're building and what the real focus is. And, ultimately it's far bigger than us as individuals. It's something, that we're building to last and to continue on. And you can't, if you're holding yourself to those kind of like completely unrealistic standards.
I don't know if you noticed me beaming over here, but like I talk about this all the time on the podcast. I talk about it all the time with my clients. I talk about it all the time when I'm doing leadership trainings. Like there are two things that are critical to making long lasting ripple out change. One is listening to your intuition and leading from your space of intuition, and one is letting go of perfection. So I'm over here, like I have the chills, like I'm super excited because if I could get that message across to everybody, it would just make such a difference in how we engage with the world. Like perfection is the enemy of the good. We're not meant to be perfect. We're naturally occurring beings on this planet. You don't look at
Yes.
a hummingbird and be like, "Wow, you're so beautiful." But you could be a little more vibrant and a little more, right? Like you don't do that. So why do we do that to ourselves? I say this all the time, like you don't look at the ocean, like you're just sitting there having lunch in Santa Barbara looking at nature going, God, I wish that tree would just be a little more pretty. Like that would make it perfect, right? We don't do that, but we do it to ourselves all the time. And I think it's what stops so many of us from doing what you guys are doing. Like I hear this, I'm running for Congress
Congratulations.
against a Democratic incumbent. I hear all the time people say to me, all the time. Oh my God, this must be so horrible. It must be so miserable. And I'm like, first of all, why would I be doing this if it was miserable? Second of all, I'm having the time of my life. Like, I'm talking to voters, I'm getting out and meeting people, I'm going to protests, I'm speaking at things, I'm fundraising, like I'm doing all these amazing things. And I love it. Like I am having so much fun doing it. And if it ever didn't feel good, I wouldn't do it. And I'm doing it so imperfectly that people are freaking out because I'm not trying to run a perfect campaign. This is not a cookie cutter campaign. It's not perfect, but man, is it so joyful that I get to use all these years of my nonprofit experience, all these years of my lobbying and advocacy experience to do something that lights me on fire. And that's what I'm seeing in you guys. Like you guys you're taking all this experience and going, how can we help the most amount of people without sitting in our cars crying because we missed a pickup in the most imperfect way possible? Because we just know it's the right and the good thing to do for us, right?
Yeah, it's like I would say our board meetings are always very like unique and that will continue to be. And like there are people who have come in from big boards and been like, you know what, this is different, but it works for you guys. And it's like that's always how our board's gonna be. Sam and I never want to be in a place where Everyday Action can't move and help people. It's like we don't want to build to a place that needs 700 people's permission to distribute water bottles. We just want to go do stuff. So it's like that's what Everyday Action's about, is inspiring people even if it's not food insecurity, whatever your thing is to just go out there and do something for someone else every day because we are all just people and we're all much more similar than we really look at on a daily basis.
So, what do you wish people? So, you're in LA, but people all over listen to this podcast. So, what do you wish people understood about taking the risk to take the leap into doing something that your heart is pulling you to do?
Just go for it. I'm always someone that like I'm not good at endings, but beginnings are very easy for me. So it's like you just have to get out of your own head, like whatever that is. Make a to-do list on a piece of paper, make it on your iPad. Is it a playlist or a song that gets you up? Whatever that thing is, do it. Like make goals every day that are part of what that experience is, even if it's one thing, and set aside an hour a day towards that goal and see what happens, with 7 hours at the end of the week. And, really make time and priority for the things you want to do. You're only setting your own way. Like life is too short. Just gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was gonna jump on that too. Like, there's no time better than the present. You don't get another second chance. You don't even know if you get tomorrow. When we started this, I lost my only brother in 2020. And
Mm.
that was a huge blow of like that's a pillar of my life that was suddenly gone. And, it really taught me once again the importance and fragility of life. And we don't have any guarantees. So the only thing stopping you is yourself. And if you don't go for it, I hope you like regret.
It's so true though. Like you just when your heart pulls you, you can't resist it. You just have to do it and see what happens. I just think that's so amazing. I'm so like ridiculously inspired by you both. Having lived in LA and that, I got my PhD at USC and there were times where, and I'm a social worker, so like I pay attention to the world around me and um there were times where I would interact with folks who were homeless, and my husband's formerly homeless. He lived actually under the city of Orange and the viaducts under the city of Orange as a teenager. And, like one of the things we've always taught our kids is, to talk to homeless people like they're people, right? Ask their names, find out where they're from, have a conversation with them, and so many people see people who live in poverty or people who are experiencing food insecurity or people who, are living on the streets as inhuman. Like we've done such a good job of dehumanizing
Yes.
poor people that they don't realize that those are their neighbors. And that as this divide becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, the middle class doesn't even exist anymore.
No.
Right.
And the more you do this kind of work, the more people can see that it's not them, it's us,
Yeah.
right? And we're all connected. So, um, just to wrap up, um, what are some words of wisdom or things that inspire you? Like, what is something like for me, it's always Metallica that keeps you going every day. I just fucking love Metallica so much. They're like my
I
favorite.
love
But what is something like a book or a song or like a phrase or something that just lights you up every single day and keeps you going and inspires you?
I mean, this is gonna seem depressing, but it is what it is a phrase that like really does help motivate me every day because like if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, like no matter what it is what it is. And that like releases a lot like of permission for me in my day of like this is what it is. So I'm just gonna go with my deck of cards today. So it's like that phrase is one, and the other one is go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you imagined. And like go do that, just like Sam said, like life is really darn short and no day is promised. And yeah, you're gonna feel really bummed if you got to the end and you're like, oh, I wish I had like tried.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I think for me, it's definitely a combo of like, really like live with your heart because like you were saying, people who are unhoused or, food insecure they're or in poverty, they're looked at a certain way. And for me, I always looked at that human as that's someone's family member.
Yes.
So, when you're leading with your heart and leading a life with that, you can't go on ignoring people and also ignoring your own needs. So I think you have to learn to love yourself and it will help you love others. And that's the only way to live, to be honest.
So good. Oh my gosh. You guys repeat so many of the things I try and tell people, and I'm very happy about it. Where can people find you all so they can learn more about you?
You can go to our website, youreverydayaction.org, or you can follow us on Instagram, which is at every_day_action. We always need volunteers. So please, if you're in LA, sign up to volunteer. And we currently have a matching campaign on Pledge to $50,000. So you can click on our website and donate. Please help.
Yeah, and you
That
don't
is
have to just
awesome.
drive for us. Like, I know not everyone loves LA traffic, so we also need volunteers helping out our warehouse space because it always needs a clean or an organized. We have things that come in. We love having sorting help. So you don't have to sit in too much LA traffic. If you don't like driving, it's okay. Just come and hang out with us at the warehouse.
People don't understand LA traffic if they don't know LA traffic. Like they don't get it. Like people are like, "What's the deal with your traffic?" No, you don't understand. I can already think of like five people I'm sending this to be like, "Hey, you all need to connect with Everyday Action." Thank you so much for being here, y'all. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the world. I'm so pleased we've connected. You guys are just amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So
Thank you
lovely to
for
meet you, and
having us.
congratulations on your run. Like, best of luck.
Yes.
Thanks. Hang tight for just a second. I am Dr. Melissa Bird. You've been listening to the Thinnest Veil podcast. If you want to learn more about how to work with me, sign up for a tarot card reading, or become part of my seasonal shenanigans, go to my website at drmelissabird.com, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.